not supposed to eat from it. Now, one important point to mention here is some people, they like to almost accuse Adam alayhi salam. And they say, why did Adam alayhi salam eat from the tree? How could he commit this great sin? And the issue that needs to be addressed is the question, do prophets commit sins? Are they sin-free or do they commit sins? And the answer to that question is a little bit complicated, but I'll put it in the simple terms as possible. Islamically, we believe that the Anbiya are free from sin, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects them and safeguard them from sin. However, at the same time, we acknowledge that they're human beings and every human being can make a mistake. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives a mistake, it is as if that person never made that mistake to begin with. This is from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So sometimes you hear people, they might jump up and they say, Adam alayhi salam ate from the tree. Nuh alayhi salam made dua against his people. Musa alayhi salam killed a man. And they mention these things that happened from the Prophet alayhi salam. And the answer is just the answer that I gave. That it is possible because they're human that they have shortcomings. They make mistakes. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven them their mistakes. Even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we are told through the Quran that there were certain incidents where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam might have done something where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala corrected his behavior. Abasa wa tawalla. So, we as Muslims, we acknowledge that. But we do not go beyond that in trying to belittle the prophets of Allah alayhim salam. This is an important lesson, that as Muslims we need to have manners between ourselves, we need to have manners with the prophets, we need to have manners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So coming back to the story itself, Adam alayhi salam ate from the tree, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a punishment, He sent Adam alayhi salam and his wife down to earth. And this was something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already planned. And the scholars in Islam, they say that Adam and Hawa, when they were placed on earth, they were separated. One was placed somewhere and the other one in a different place. Some scholars say Adam alayhi salam was placed in India. Others, they say he was placed in a place between Mecca and Taif. Others, they say other places. But again, those details don't matter that much. Later on, they met. And that is where they continued their life on earth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with children. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught them a special dua to say in order to be forgiven that mistake that they did. And they said, قَالَا رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِلَّا تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted their repentance, and from their children Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought many prophets and many pious people, and all of the children. During the time that Adam alayhi salam was in the heavens, there's a hadith that mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Adam alayhi salam see all of his offspring. And he saw light on their face. The stronger the light was on their face, the more virtuous this person was. And he saw one particular individual. And he asked Allah, "Oh Allah, who is this?" And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Adam that this is Dawood alayhi salam. And from that conversation, Adam alayhi salam gave a portion of his life, a few years, to Dawood alayhi salam. He asked Allah, he made dua. And he gave him 40 years. He said, "Oh Allah, give this child of mine, Dawood alayhi salam, 40 years of my life." And Adam alayhi salam lived, he was told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he would live 1,000 years. 1,000 years. When Malakul Maut came to Adam alayhi salam, 40 years before the 1,000 years was up, Adam alayhi salam started arguing. He said to the angel of death, he said, "I still have 40 years left. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told me that I will live for 1,000 years. And then he was told, you gave the 40 years to Dawood." And Adam alayhi salam said, "No, I don't remember that," or he denied it. So the scholars in Islam, from this part of the story, they take a very beautiful lesson. And they say that as a human being, it is possible to forget. And just because a person forgets, does not make them a liar. This is an important thing to remember. If a person forgets, then the father of mankind, Adam alayhi salam, forgot as well. So this teaches us to be kind, to be easygoing with people. We should not be very harsh and difficult and call every person that forgets, "You're telling a lie," or "You're being untruthful," and so on. And this is from the akhlaq, these are from the characters that a believer should try to imitate. So inshallah, for today's class we will end it here with the story of Adam alayhi salam. Inshallah, next time we will carry on, mention a little bit about the children of Adam alayhi salam, and then moving on to the following prophets. One of his children, Sheeth alayhi salam, and then Idris, and so on. We will carry on in a chronological order as much as we can, inshallah. I have to inform brothers and sisters that tomorrow's class will unfortunately be delayed until next week. Next week, inshallah, we will have Friday and Saturday to go over the next portion of these stories. But tomorrow's class will unfortunately not be held here at the masjid, and we will carry on next week, inshallah. Yes?
There will be no class tomorrow?
Yes, no class tomorrow, inshallah. Any questions? Please ask them now.
Where did Adam alayhi salam die?
Where he died?
Yeah.
The scholars in Islam, they give different answers. To be honest, I do not know which one is the strongest of the opinions. I know for a fact that there are certain places on earth that say that Adam alayhi salam's grave is in this place, and other people they say no, it's in this place. So Allahu a'lam where it actually is. Yes?
Was there any wild animals on Earth when Adam was put
That's a good question. The brother is asking whether there are any wild animals on earth. In short, we are not told in detail about what was actually living on earth, other than that the earth was created. So when we're not told, there's always a possibility that there were animals on earth, and there's also the possibility that there were no animals on earth. So the correct way of approaching or answering that question in Islam would be to say, Allah knows best. Allah knows best.
How long has it been since Allah sent Adam on earth?
Jazakallah khairan. The brother is asking how long was it since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Adam alayhi salam to earth. There are certain hadith that mention a certain number of Qurun generations between Adam alayhi salam and some of the other prophets, but there's no definite number of years. There's no definite number of years other than generations, and some of the scholars, they've said that the lifespan of the people before us was much longer. Adam alayhi salam himself lived to close to 1,000 years. We know for a fact that other prophets like Nuh alayhi salam lived about the same amount of time. So that is roughly what we have to go, as a basis. However, and this is important to mention, is that in Islam we make the separation between the creation of earth and the creation of mankind, meaning that we do not say that earth was created when Adam alayhi salam was created. People today, they say, well, the earth was created millions or billions years ago, right? In Islam, from an Islamic point of view, there's no contradiction. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us already that once Adam alayhi salam was created, not only was the earth created before that, but the earth had been inhabited before the arrival of mankind, before the arrival of Adam alayhi salam. So it's very difficult to give an estimation on the time span.
Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned about the Rahman. Al-Bayan here referred to Adam, was referred to the Sallallahu.
That's a good point. The question is, when Allah Azza wa Jalla says "Allamahu al-Bayan," does it refer to Adam alayhi salam or does it refer to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam? The scholars in Islam applying both meanings would be correct in saying that Allah Azza wa Jalla taught Adam alayhi salam how to speak. Allah Azza wa Jalla taught Adam alayhi salam communication, the meanings of words and the language. However, in different times, some people became very eloquent speakers, and they became, very knowledgeable in the field of knowledge itself. So Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He says "Allamahul Bayan," it goes back to mankind as a whole. Allah Azza wa Jalla said Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan, Allamahu al-Bayan. That Allah Azza wa Jalla created al-Insan, mankind. وَعَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ, and He is the one that subhanahu wa ta'ala taught mankind speech. So it can be applied for both Adam alayhi salam in the early stages, and Allah Azza wa Jalla taught certainly the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam how to be eloquent in speech and how to address people. So both applications could be valid. Yes?
How tall is Adam?
That's a very good question. The brother is asking about how tall Adam alayhi salam was. In some of the narrations, the hadith, it mentions that Adam alayhi salam was very, very tall. If I remember correctly, 60 cubic meter. That is very, very tall. Not only that, but a hadith that comes to mind, and this is a very important hadith, is the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah Azza wa Jal says that He created Adam alayhi salam ala suratihi, that Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam upon His image. Now what does that mean? Some people, wal-iyadu billah, they've misunderstood this hadith completely. And they think that it means that Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam to look like Allah, wal-iyadu billah. And this is wrong. Because there's nothing that looks like Allah, there's nothing that comes close to Allah. So what is the correct understanding of this hadith? The scholars in Islam, they say there's two interpretations that are valid in Islam. One is, it means ala suratihi, that the only resemblance between the image of Allah and the image of mankind is that Allah Azza wa Jal is Sami' and Basir. Allah Azza wa Jal is hearing and seeing. And Allah Azza wa Jal made Adam alayhi salam, gave him eyesight and gave him hearing, and these type of attributes. So Allah Azza wa Jal gave attributes to Adam alayhi salam that Allah Azza wa Jal has, but, and this is the most important part, the difference is enormous. In the same way that the scholars in Islam, they say, you might say, I have a hand, right? This is my hand right here. And you say maybe an elephant has a hand or a foot, right? Both things have feet or hands, but it's completely different. There's no tashabuh, there's no muqarana, you can't put these two things together. Similarly, when it comes to this hadith that Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam alayhi salam in His image, that is the way to understand it. Another interpretation to this hadith is it means that Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam alayhi